Hi, I wanted to check in with you by video instead of writing. Now that we're getting close to the end of Unit 1, right? Your final assignments from Unit 1 will be due this coming Sunday. And so I just wanted to say hi and give you a few updates. One, first of all, if you haven't handed in any of the assignments yet from Unit 1 that have already been due, um, and I have graded them, just because there is a zero now in the grade book doesn't mean that the zero needs to stay. You can always submit work later. Please just communicate with me about your plans to do so that I know to look for it. I also wanted to give you a quick book talk, right? So for my especially my elementary and middle school teachers in the group, you are familiar with book talks. But a lot of your reading responses in Unit 1 really made me think of this book by Ibram Kendi, Stamped from the Beginning. So many people know Ibram Kendi for his work, How to Be an Anti-Racist or Anti-Racist Baby, or the young adult version he did of How to Be an Anti-Racist with Jason Reynolds. All fantastic. But I actually think this is a far more important book, particularly as scholars of education. Now, I say that it's a ginormous book. So you can see I did not assign this in one of the book choices this semester. It would take you all semester to read it, and maybe you wouldn't even finish. But I highly, highly recommend this book. So let me zoom in close so you can see the subtitle, The Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America. What Kendi does in Stamped from the Beginning is make a painstaking historical argument to show that while today we often think about race, and so we know that, first of all, back up. In case you don't know, it is scientific fact that there is no such thing as race, right? It is a social construction. It has material consequences in the world, which is what Ibram Kendi talks about. But it's not a scientific or biological thing. It's a social thing. So Ibram Kendi goes through this painstaking analysis to show how the construction of race and racism, they were constructed consciously in order to justify exploitative relationships. And that those exploitative relationships were born out of colonialism and imperialism, out of the era of exploration, right? He does go back further. So each chapter, if I were to open up, this is a new copy because I loaned my last one to someone and never got it back, and I'm not going to ask for it back. I think they should read the whole thing. So if I come to chapter 1, we see human hierarchy, and he starts in, let's see what year, 1635, and he makes an argument. Sorry, my phone's ringing in the background. He makes an argument of how these hierarchies of people were very consciously crafted in order to justify the exploitation of people around the globe. I think it's really important to layer this historical analysis in with our own thinking about U.S. educational history. In a way, this is a little beyond the purview of the class, but if you are interested, if you are questioning after this first week's readings, this book should be on your nightstand, and give yourself a year to read it. Or borrow it from the library and just take a look at the first 3 chapters. If you do that, you'll get a sense of his argument, and you might trust him at that point that he's going to continue that painstaking work moving forward. So Stamped from the Beginning is my book rec. 1. 2, if you've missed any assignments, you can still make them up. So just be in touch with me. And 3, I hope you have a good weekend.